Good evening. I'm Anchor Pete, and I'm here with my wife, Shari T.
Hi.
And we are here to review Yellowjackets episode 7, which is called No Compass. On the Anchor Pete show, we like to talk about the movies, TV shows, and everything else that people like to discuss.
You forgot your own tagline?
I'm fucking it up. That people you might have heard of, but not enough people are talking about. Boom.
Good job.
There we
Good
go.
job.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, Yellowjackets though seems to be growing in fame, and the show is greenlit for another season. And we just watched a video actually where they were talking about it being mapped out for 5 seasons. Right?
Yes. There was a Vulture interview.
Yeah.
Where they screened the first episode, the pilot, and all of the cast of girls was there, older girls and the younger girls.
Yeah.
And it was recommended by one of our viewers, and I'm so sorry I can't think of her name, but you get credit. But she recommended it, and we did watch it, and we found out some juicy little tidbits.
Yeah. It super interesting. I was thinking that we could kind of dive into this episode and then just kind of reflect on what we learned from that Vulture screening. How's that sound? Yeah. So thanks for joining us. And if you guys want to say anything in the comments too, please feel free to join in the discussion. We love y'all's comments. So this episode is called No Compass, and we're going to be spoiling the shit out of it. So if you haven't seen it, go to Showtime and watch it.
Yes, and if you're a regular viewer on our channel, please like and subscribe. It would help us a lot, and it would help me be able to do a poll, which I'm obsessing over.
Y'all must really want Sherry to get a poll because a lot of people subscribed in that last episode, so we appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to do a verbal poll in this, at the end of this discussion, so at least I can do that.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, with this episode, we had a pretty shocking moment right at the very end. And as you'll see from the thumbnail, it says, "And so it begins." So we had our first major death at the plane wreckage site, right?
Yeah.
Or from the crash. But this episode mainly cut back and forth between Taissa and Natalie and Shauna trying to figure out who's blackmailing them. And there was a chase sequence, right?
Yeah, it was a bit of a caper.
Yeah, there was definitely a caper going on.
Yeah, it was, to me, this was a more kind of fun episode where you see the girls kind of like relating to each other a little bit more. Some kind of a lot more talking maybe. With
the girls at the crash site or in the present day?
I was thinking of the girls in present day.
Yeah.
We got to see them all together very much. And here they are. And they're kind of actually making small talk and chit chat, even though it didn't go super well.
It went pretty poorly.
But they still interacted. And I liked seeing them all together.
Yeah, me too. There was a little bit of that in the plane crash time too. And we'll get into that in a little bit as well. But yeah, that's the thing about this show, right? Is that at this point, I think we're just roped in because we like these characters so much, right?
Yes, but I also really want to know what happened.
You really want to know what happened?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm dying to know what happened.
Okay. So let's just go through the beats, okay? So in the plane crash time, we're dealing with Taissa, who is saying that she's going to go off on her own. She says if anyone wants to come with her, they can, and they say they will. And it turns out to be Van and these 2 random girls who I don't remember the names of. And then Misty eventually joins too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those 2 random girls, it's kind of funny because we've seen them a whole bunch of times, but I kind of think of them as red shirts. Do you know what red shirts are?
No.
So in Star Trek, the people in the crew that have red shirts are usually like the characters that are not the main characters, and they usually get killed if someone's going to get killed on one of their missions. Just like a random person.
Bless your heart. You lost me at Star Trek.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we got a comment, though. We got Susie Long, who just said hi. So, all right, we'll join in the conversation.
Okay, so Taissa wants to go off. She's really adamant about it. No one can talk her out of it. So these girls have decided to join her, including Van. And
yes.
This is a good episode for Van because she has several moments. I really appreciated her kindness to Lottie. In this episode, that she like listens to her, doesn't just kind of treat her like she's a crazy the way Taissa does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was important to like show more of her in this episode since it's going to be her final, or was her final episode.
Yeah, you don't think that like she's, and then I'm going to come off as really stupid, right? But like you don't think she's alive, right?
No, I don't think she's alive. She had a chunk gone from her face.
Her face.
So to jump forward, the end of the episode is the girls who go off getting attacked by wolves.
Yeah.
Which they had heard howling, but they were not seriously concerned enough, I think, that they would actually get attacked.
Yeah.
They had someone on watch who was Taissa at the end of the episode.
And guess where she was?
She like kind of comes to, and it's not clear what she was doing or how that happened, but she was up in a damn tree.
Up in that tree. It wasn't even like, because on this show we've speculated that she would go up in the tree to get away from wolves, and that is kind of what happened. But she did it subconsciously. Like it wasn't. I
guess did she fall asleep?
She fell asleep, and I think like sleepwalked up the tree.
Sleep climbed.
Yes, absolutely.
So she's kind of always been this like sleepwalker type person. That's why I'm still suspicious that there's more going on with her than meets the eye. But
yeah,
she already has issues even before
kind
of the plane crash and all the horrible things happen. But so they end the episode with revealing she's up in the tree, not there to wake the other girls up when the wolves start to attack. It looks like they're getting attacked because she's the one on watch. She's the one supposed to warn everybody.
Yeah.
And she's up in the damn tree sleeping.
Yes. And so that could also be why she bit.
How did the necklace get on her? Good question.
Okay, so we should show these because the people aren't seeing these that are watching the video too.
Oh, go ahead and show it.
So Susie, who's joined us in the conversation, says wolves go for the throat, and so I'm assuming that's confirming that Van is definitely dead. Though I was looking for a big neck gash, and I just saw the face ripped off.
I'm pretty sure she's dead.
She's dead. Okay.
I'm pretty sure she's dead, and maybe she's lucky to go first and before they face anything more horrible, because I just feel like more terrible stuff is coming.
Yeah. And she said, how did the necklace get on Taissa? So that's what
great
Susie's
question.
Asking. Yeah.
Great question. And why is Van being pulled off by a wolf where the other girls are together with fire?
Yeah.
Like kind of what happened.
Right.
So I don't know if they're ever going to reveal that, or we're kind of be left to speculate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, okay, so when I first was watching the show, before I knew about the planned 5 seasons, I thought they weren't going to do any kind of supernatural stuff. And we've talked about this many times on our show, right? I think that the guy that she has seen as a kid without the eyes and stuff, I mean, that's showing that maybe there's something more to this. There's like actual supernatural forces, and that she is truly psychic. And that's why she went up in the tree, is because she had like this own premonition of her own.
I mean, that's kind of what I suspect. I've been suspecting all along about Taissa, that there's more to her, and that she kind of wants to squelch and not deal with.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know that something supernatural is going on. It might be like just in her mind. I don't know.
Okay, well, and this is funny because I wanted to do this episode like kind of in order, but we're kind of jumping to the end. But it's so juicy.
Well, we just watched it, and how can we not?
Yeah.
How can we not talk about it? But I do think that they showed Van a lot this episode, all throughout the episode, and we got like more feel for her. And I just wanted to say, I looked up the actress's name. It was Liv Hewitt.
Sure.
He told me to put away my phone, and now I lost it. Liv Houston. I want to give her credit because I really enjoyed her.
Yeah.
She was becoming one of my favorite characters, especially this episode. And then, that's what they love to do. They love to make you like someone and then kill them off. It's just upsetting.
Yeah.
Were you upset?
Of course. It is like what you said. It's like make you really feel for the person and then take them out, right? That's pretty standard procedure. And then there's all that speculation about the necklace, right? Did the necklace, like Susie's asking, did the necklace protect her and not Van? And I
think she took it.
Right. That Taissa took the necklace.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's proven to be a bit selfish.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, there's these premonitions that Lottie is having, and she predicted this river of blood.
Mm-hmm.
And they find that weird river, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but the compass was like malfunctioning too.
Yeah, kind of Bermuda Triangle style is what I was thinking. Like, where are they?
Right.
I mean, I know they're in the middle of nowhere, but maybe there's something about this place.
Right. And
like it wouldn't let the guy in the plane leave.
Right. And they even allude to that, right? Because when they're separated, the 2 red shirts and Taissa and Van and Misty, they start to have that speculation of like, maybe there is something weird going on here. And what did Lottie say about the wilderness? The wilderness wouldn't let him go, right? Wouldn't let the guy go, right? So, I mean, to me, this feels like Lost kind of stuff, right? I always talk about how Lost influences the show. And like the idea that the forest might be alive and that there's a river of blood. I don't think it's actual blood, but
Misty had a very logical explanation.
Yeah.
Iron in the water. I don't know anything about iron in the water. Does it make it like undrinkable? I guess so, because I didn't drink it. They're lucky that Misty though to know these things.
I know.
Can we talk about Misty this episode?
Okay, yeah. Let's go off of that, and then we can talk about all the stuff with Misty. There's so much to unpack. This is a pretty juicy episode.
I like to go character by character personally.
Okay. So, well, let's segue with that with Misty. Did you think that she was going to join their group? Was that kind of shocking that she joined their group?
It was last minute. I didn't really know. I didn't have time to think about who's going with Taissa. I just sort of watched it unfold without putting any pre-thought into it.
I could just say for myself that I thought it was going to be Van, and then when those two red shirt girls, I'm like, okay, yeah, you need people to die, and then Taissa, and I didn't even think Van was going to go.
I enjoyed also that Lottie predicted prom queen. That kind of cracked me up. But who was prom queen? Jackie? I don't know. They don't say that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm responding to Susie a little bit.
Yeah.
But
So we're talking about Misty, right? And so
I wanted to talk about her in the present, not so much as the past.
Okay.
Yes, she does kind of the thing where she joins them, but to me, as usual, her hijinks.
Yeah.
As Christina Ricci, who's probably having so much fun playing this character, she's really good in the role. She always does something crazy, guaranteed.
Yeah.
This time we kind of knew this was coming because it's in the beginning, her putting the poison in the chocolates.
Yeah, it's in the opening credits, yeah.
She's so chilling when she starts to threaten the reporter, she seems sweet.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say about this episode. There was two genuine moments that took me by surprise. Because I'm like you guys in the comments and stuff. I kind of go to predict things. I see things as clues, and I'm like, this will probably happen next, or this will happen next, right? And this episode had two moments where I wasn't expecting them to happen. I wasn't expecting Misty to join that group and go off at the plane crash site. And I wasn't expecting her to threaten the father of the reporter, Jessica Roberts. Right, but I did not see that. That was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming.
Because she's smart.
She's smart, and
she knew that would work. I like the look on the reporter's face where she's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And the reporter said a bunch of interesting things in that situation, too. She said that this wasn't the first time that she was held hostage, right? But Misty's too clever for her. Misty's like, well, what happened to the person that you held hostage, right? Because
that held you hostage.
That held you hostage, right? And, the report said they lived happily. Misty's just way too clever for that shit.
I guess. I didn't really know what that meant.
It meant that, the person that held her hostage must have been killed or, in prison. Or most likely killed.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So, Misty's kind of saying, I'm too clever for you. You're not going to get the drop on me, basically. Okay. Right? And so, I just did not expect her to, go to kill the guy. Yeah, I think she would literally do that, too. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think she knew it would work.
Yeah.
I think she knew she wouldn't have to. I don't know that she's above murder in the present day. She's done some terrible things. We haven't actually seen her kill anybody.
Right.
But that's what she was threatening to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, she gets the information from the reporter, which is that the reporter did see Travis, is the one who gave him the expensive whiskey or whatever.
Yeah.
And somehow knew that she had done some research that Travis's bank account had been emptied.
Right. And closed.
Yeah. How to get into someone's bank account, don't you? I mean, you need to have their ID, and maybe someone took his wallet. I don't know.
It's possible,
or they have to be a co-signer on the account.
Well, it's also possible that someone threatened him and said oh, I'm going to kill Natalie, or I'm going to expose your secrets. Give me your money.
Yeah.
And and Travis had to give his information to them. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
she got that juicy tidbit. Personally, I kind of wouldn't mind having Misty on my side. If I was Natalie, Taissa, and Shauna, they don't want anything to do with her. But I don't know. I mean, I mean, Natalie almost shot someone tonight. I mean, I don't know that she's much better.
Yeah, I think you're right. Misty gets the job done, and she's very knowledgeable, right? I mean, she's been saving them left and right at the plane crash site, and I'm guessing that with the torches keeping the wolves back, that was probably her idea too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that'll be revealed. You know what else was revealed this episode? they're talking, Shauna and present day Taissa are talking in the car about how Taissa has blown a bunch of money putting Natalie in rehab. And she says, I feel like I owe it to her. She saved us. Or what does she say?
Yes.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her.
That is correct. That's what she says in the car.
Which is a bit of a reveal that Natalie, when they're teenagers, is probably going to save their life somehow.
Yes.
I'm not sure how. Maybe it could be just providing food, but it could be in a moment of possible life or death. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it'll be a moment of life and death.
Well, with the kind of show this is, but
right.
Yeah. So she does feel obligation towards taking care of Natalie, who has no one, as she points out.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about Natalie now, or did you have any more about Misty?
Yeah, let's talk about Natalie.
So with Natalie, I kind of just wanted to bring this up too, because the one woman that recommended we watch that Vulture interview, thank you so much. And you guys should definitely check it out too. It's like 20-something minutes. Just type in like Vulture Yellowjackets and it should come up, right? It has the picture of the actress that plays Misty in the thumbnail. Anyway, what Shari and I, when we watched it, we noticed that, what's her face? Juliette Lewis was like pretty upset like the whole time, right? And at the very end of the panel, she basically says that Natalie is this de-evolved character, right?
Yes.
She was basically talking about how she didn't like the character she was playing. And I think she gave credit to the younger Natalie actress, but she didn't like her version of Natalie.
Yeah, which is interesting because one of our viewers, Ralph, has been saying that past Natalie's great, present Natalie's shit, because she's just a mess. And, Juliette Lewis was saying in this interview, she was not enjoying playing this character. If she had known the character was going to be this way, she wouldn't have signed on. She was like very revealing and angry in the interview, like probably a lot more than was comfortable for everybody who was there. It was awkward, but it was interesting because we found out how she really feels about it. She was like, I'm going to show up and do a good job, but I didn't know it was going to be like this.
Yeah.
And stormed off the stage.
Right. At the very end of the panel, she like walked off right when they were wrapping it up, and everyone else just sat there kind of being like, oh
shit.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like, it made me think, because Shari brought up some good points after we watched that. I just like Juliette Lewis in general. And I think that she's kind of funny and she's this sort of smart aleck character on this show, but her life is completely in the gutter, right?
As the character.
And so,
yeah, she has so much potential when she's young, and she's like happy despite what happened with her father. And she's like got this budding romance with Travis, which that's a whole other scene. But
I definitely want to talk about that scene.
Yeah,
too.
I do too. She's not like that yet. I know there's so much more to come, but Taissa and Shauna do seem so much like they've handled the guilt more, where she's let it tear her apart.
Interesting enough, though, in this episode, she did say, "You guys are the same as me. You just kind of deny it to yourselves. You hide it better."
Well, that's definitely true of Taissa, because they opened the episode with her
in a
freaking
tree.
Mess.
Yeah.
She was back in the tree having to clean up, wash dirt and blood off herself. Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know. I think we've probably compared this to It before, right? On our show.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I think about It when I watch the show too, because you have like the teenage versions of the characters and you have the adult versions of the characters, right? And I think that Natalie, more so than anyone else, fits that kind of Stephen King character, where maybe as a teenager they had this potential, or they were one way, but then they have this very tragic adult life, and it usually drugs and alcohol are involved, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what I feel for Natalie. And I do wonder if Juliette Lewis might die by the end of this season. You can still have all this stuff with Natalie in it, the young Natalie, but eventually I think that she might die because she doesn't like the role, unless her character changes dramatically.
You're doing the
meta. Sorry, I can't help it.
What's it called?
Well, just like, what we call meta gaming and role playing stuff, but
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so.
Well, you're trying to guess the outcome of a character based on the actress's attitude, which you might be right. She's probably, she seemed like she would want to get out of the contract she's in.
Right.
But we'll see. I do feel kind of bad for her character because it's the least fun of the adults. I'd way rather be in Christina Ricci's role or Taissa's role or Shauna's role. Natalie's is kind of the bummer, just drugged up role. Yeah. And she's like pretty mean to Kevin in this episode. I'm kind of sick of her being mean.
Yeah. And there was this great interaction because she shot her gun when they were having their little caper, but it was his gun. And since he's a cop, he has to be accountable for all of his bullets. And I thought that was real interesting. He's like, You can't just blow me off and just tell me some story. Like, we need to go find that bullet. You know,
I didn't know that cops had to. I mean,
yeah,
I never thought about it. He has to find the bullet.
Yeah, because they're all held accountable. You know,
that's what he said. Yeah. I know that was news to me though. So
yeah,
educational.
Yes. But usually on a show like this, that might just get brushed aside and no one cares. But I like that he had a conflict with her, and it looks like the two of them are breaking up, right?
Right. And they should, because she doesn't give a crap about him. Yeah. I mean, maybe she does a little. She did look sort of like...
She looked sad.
But that maybe she just drives away everybody. You know, I don't know what her adult life has been like. But all of her relationship with Travis, you know, with this love they have, they weren't together when the show started, right? Yeah. She was trying to track him down.
So should we talk about young Travis and her, young Natalie?
Okay, I'm dying to talk about Shauna and Jackie and the pregnancy too, though.
Oh, we'll get to that too, but let's just, I like your idea of let's cover one character at a time, right? Okay. So I got to talk about that sex scene, because that was just real awkward as hell to watch.
Yes, it was.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of why are they showing this to us? We've already kind of established that he is a virgin and that she's had sex with 2 guys. So why are they having the scene? Is it just filler? Right? Do you have theories or what?
Again, I have to credit a viewer, and again, I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of the person who said this, but you know, they put the idea in my head, which is that Travis seems angry about his father, right, who died in the plane crash. The viewer said maybe he was molested by his father. He was mad when the little brother was trying to honor the father by hanging on to the last thing his dad had given him, which is a piece of gum, right?
Yeah.
And that viewer suggested that maybe Travis has issues because his dad molested him.
Oh, okay. Well, viewer, thank you for saying that, because that also ties in with his brother, right? Javi, who we always think is Adam. And Javi, there's always something kind of suspicious going on with him.
Well, they barely show him, except he's hunting around in Shauna's back for a knife to do an art project, which we know grown up Adam is an artist.
Right. So I could see a bigger picture thing where maybe he's a little twisted because he was molested too, like his brother, and then they went through this plane crash thing, and maybe we'll see something like that with Adam, if Adam is Javi, right?
Okay. But it would explain why Travis had some trouble with sex with a girl, maybe just with sex, period, you know?
I think that's a good point. Yeah, you know what we should do for next episode, Shari? I think that we should just write down the names of everybody and their points and give people credit, because there are people that routinely give us.
I know. I want to, and I'm sucking with the names.
Well, we will get you guys next episode. But my little theory about that sex scene, besides that, it might just be to establish that that they had their lives before the plane crash, and now they're in this plane crash kind of role. But maybe he would have never have gotten with Natalie in the past, maybe he wouldn't have been with her, and he has these kind of trepidations, of getting with someone.
What do you mean? Why not? Why wouldn't he get with her?
I maybe he's just intimidated by her, and they wouldn't have gotten together in the first place. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, maybe they never would have talked to each other. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Is that, or are you saying that she's not his type?
Something like that, maybe. But so you think, though, it's the molestation thing, though?
That's where my mind went. I have no idea if he was molested. They haven't showed that. But like I said, a viewer suggested it, and made me kind of think, ooh, there is some support there. That's a scene that would support that theory.
Okay.
Maybe he's just nervous. But this show is so loaded with taboo and awful things that I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah. So that kind of covers that awkward scene. Why don't we segue over to Shauna then, right? Because we're already talking about Javi, right? And there's that whole sequence where he was going through her stuff, and she hid her journal because she felt like he was looking at it, and she put it up in the rafters. And then we come back at the end of the episode, and someone has found it. Right?
Yeah, Jackie's crying over it.
Yeah.
Jackie's taking it out into the woods and is reading it, and I assume she's finding out that who the real father,
real baby daddy is.
Yeah, who the real father of Shauna's baby is. Yes. Man, I don't keep a journal, and this is why.
Yeah.
They always get discovered, and all hell breaks loose. So that's the main thing I can't wait to see next week, is how Jackie's going to handle this knowledge that she has.
Yeah.
It's going to be juicy. And I'm just waiting for like the rift between them because I know it's coming.
I like how Shauna tried to pin it on the guy Randy, who we've seen like adult Randy, and like, oh, you know, that would have been a little rough.
We've seen adult Randy.
He ran into Shauna at the hotel
last
episode. That was Randy, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. But I knew in the past that they had kind of made fun of him, and they thought he was sort of oafish or something.
Yeah. But I like that.
Which is why maybe Jackie's not buying it.
Right. And I like that Jackie kind of thought for a second. She's like, wait a minute, didn't I go pick up Randy because he threw up in the pool? Like, you know, she's kind of onto her too.
That's probably why she
found the journal.
Why she swipes the journal and reads it.
But can we just talk about that scene with Javi and him going through her stuff though?
Yeah.
Because he did carve a wolf, right?
He did an art project.
Right, but the art project was a wolf, right?
Yeah.
And so if this show is that kind of like Lost type show with like, you know, oh, maybe there's some supernatural shit. Could be him carving a wolf. Could have some kind of supernatural effect. Like maybe he summoned the wolf. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? They played the show for 5 seasons. Like, you got to fill it with something.
You think he summoned the wolves?
Yeah, maybe not like consciously.
See, I'm afraid to laugh at you because last time I did, you're right.
Tree. She was in the tree twice this episode. She was in the tree in the very beginning.
Okay. So you ended up being right about that.
Yes. Come on,
if you're right about little Javi summoning wolves.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, we got another person too. We got Lauren West said, "Oh, wolf and not horse. Need to go back and watch again." I thought it was a wolf.
I thought it was a dog at first, but like they give a pretty clear shot after Shauna picks it up, looks at it, puts it down. It's definitely a wolf. I mean, it was a very wolfy episode. Yeah, so it's interesting he carves a wolf, but you know what else I noticed in this episode? We're going to talk about some of the more minor characters.
Yeah.
Laura Lee, the holier than thou girl. She has that kind of. It's not even this episode, really, right? It's the coming up scenes where she's like, "I'm going to fly this plane."
Oh yes.
I'm looking forward to that, and she's taking charge, and she kind of gives some attitude to the coach.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to stop me? We haven't seen that side of her, right? She's always been the sweet girl.
People are changing. And like she's had an effect too because she's the one that's starting to believe Lottie, and Lottie seems to be gaining power with the people in the group, right?
Yeah, some are respecting the fact that she can see some future. So they're believing it, and they're
right. And Lottie,
giving her credit.
And Lottie and her, I believe, were like looking at the carcass of that deer, and that's where they found that bone.
The bone that didn't burn.
Yes. And so my question to you guys and to you too, is that bone, do we see that in the very beginning of the first episode? Is that like a thing that has on their neck?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone has any recollection of the bone being seen in any other episode, let us know. But it was important in this episode.
Yeah. And Taissa had it on her. It's very possible she's going to wear that the whole time when she's in the wilderness, and then she'll come back and still have it too.
Well, Misty's coming back. We know that.
Misty's coming back. Taissa's coming back. The other 2 girls, I don't think
they're not coming back.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. They are wolf bait or Taissa and Misty bait, right? But let's talk about Shauna though, because we were still on the Shauna path, right? So they have that sequence where there's the caper. They chase this guy through like a Walmart, and he crashes into. Or it was like a Savers, really, right?
I don't know, some clothing.
It was like a Savers, right? Because it was like they dropped the money bag into a donation.
Like a Goodwill, maybe.
Right, a Goodwill or Savers, yeah. And so they chase him, and he just happens to run into this pile that has glitter, right?
Yes.
And then there's all these sequences where you see men in beds or like close in a house to the main women, right? And so you have the guy, Kevin, is with Natalie.
So when she comes home, he's in bed.
No glitter there, right? And also, he was being watched. You made a good point. He was being watched by Misty.
Right? Okay, when she wasn't torturing the reporter.
When she wasn't torturing the reporter. Then you have the sequence where you have both Adam and Jeff. That's the name of Shauna's husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they both kind of are in the bedroom. And we see on the coming up next time that Shauna finds some glitter.
Yeah.
So it's like, it could be either of those 2 men.
And also finding glitter doesn't mean it was that glitter, that person. It could be a red herring,
Yes.
We'll see. But Pete was kind of convinced it's one of the guys they know that took the money. And I'm not so sure I feel that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe.
So we got Susie right here. She said that necklace was hanging in a tree when the girl was running in the snow in the first episode. Okay.
No.
And then she also said, I think it's Jeff. So we got 1 vote so far for the Jeff being the guy.
Let's just do a poll right now.
Yeah.
If you want to comment.
She's busting out polls already.
If you want to comment and say who you think is the person with the glitter. It's not necessarily a guy, as Shauna points out. The person's wearing a mask, and I mean, I think the actor in the scene is a guy because of the build, but they could easily say this is a girl.
What if it was the daughter? Right?
Who knows? So comment and let us know what you think.
Okay, good. So we've covered Shauna, we've covered Natalie, we've covered Misty. So that just leaves Taissa, right?
Yeah.
And we've kind of already talked about Taissa in the woods already. Taissa in the present day, there's not much to it. We kind of already discussed her conversation with everybody, how she was paying for Natalie's rehab, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't really much more to her.
No, but it did open with her and what a mess she was.
Yes.
What a mess she was. And like how she really, I keep thinking about those words that Natalie kind of yells at them. Neither of you are any better than me. And like Taissa really isn't. She's really got like a lot of trauma, I think, from all of this. And like blacking out and doing things is like a big, huge problem, right? If you're doing that, you can't even control yourself because you're not present. Like you're not conscious, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big problem. And it looks like it's going to come up next week because she's like telling her wife that she needs to leave because she's afraid she's going to hurt her.
Yeah. And the actress that played her younger self, she, I think, is doing a really great job. You know, she cut her hair in this episode, and then she did that scream at the very end. And you could tell she's just so sad that, like, you know, Van died, right? That was a great way to end that episode. That actress is in Scream, the new version of Scream, or the reboot, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I saw her in the preview.
Right. And so I think we'll probably end up covering that on this channel at one point, maybe. Or my other channel, the Lastercast, the horror channel. But besides that, I just want to mention this too before we wrap this up, that Christina Ricci was actually in the Matrix movie, for you guys that have watched the Matrix, and that just kind of made me so happy to see like Misty, because she had the short hair like Misty in the Matrix movie too.
Okay.
Shari's not very impressed. But
I want to talk real quick. I mean, I think we should wrap it up soon, but I want to say something real quick about the hair cutting scene, because I feel like whenever there's a hair cutting scene, it means it's like symbolic of change, right? There's a lot of like movies and shows where the woman cuts her hair, and it means something usually. And I think for Taissa, I'd love to hear everyone's theories on this too. What do you think it meant that she cut her hair? She didn't need to cut her hair. Why did she do that?
I mean,
it's like she's shedding something.
Yeah.
That's usually what's going on. You're getting rid of like a weight or something. It's symbolic in that way.
Yeah. I was thinking like a practical thing of like that she just didn't want to have any encumbrance, and she was going to be sweating a lot because she was walking through the woods. Could be a metaphorical thing, like you're saying, like she's getting rid of something.
It's no, come on. No. Like in literature and movies, it always means something. I mean, you could say on the surface it's practical, but it means something for the writers of the show.
Yeah. Well, Susie.
Maybe just the change in her.
Susie agrees with you. She says transformation.
Thank you.
And then here, Lauren. Yeah, I love that you guys are commenting so much tonight. Says $50K is not that much money in reality. Why that amount? So perhaps it is someone who knows that this is about all that could be obtained. So Jeff or someone close. Okay, so she's kind of in the Jeff camp. Hey, they could be the daughter too.
Do you think Jeff has like all along been wondering what really happened to Jackie? I mean, because he's married to Shauna. I mean, like, why would he wait until now to try to get that information?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I mean, I don't know how much he buys the story, you know?
Yeah.
Or how much anybody. I mean, it seems like everybody's skeptical. Everybody wants to know what really happened, so they don't buy the they put out.
Yeah.
And when I say everybody, I mean like the world, the public.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's. I'm really glad you brought that up. That's a good one. Like he wants to know what happened to Jackie, the truth. I like that a lot.
But I don't know if he does. You know, he doesn't seem like the brightest.
He seems aloof, right? But if he was involved in all this stuff, then maybe he's not at all having an affair. It's that he's kind of
sneaking around,
kind of doing this other stuff.
Sneaking around, like Shauna's sneaking around, but she's also having an affair. She's just quite the, she's very busy.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, let's just get like 2 more comments on here. Lauren says, interesting reference to that 90s movie with Sandra Bullock while you were sleeping.
I love
just
it. That
before
was
the
funny.
wolf noises. Yeah, and then Misty had that movie on too.
Yeah, and she was watching it and like kind of thinking of that moment, I think, by the fire and kind of having like a fond memory.
Yeah, and then look at this right here down. Riley Cormac, subscribe. Or man or woman, Riley could be for either, but wherever you are, thank you so much. We appreciate having you. We appreciate having all of you guys because this is really cool. It's really fun to have everybody be a part of this with us. And so, did you want to do your poll that you were going to throw up?
I can't remember what it was.
Oh no, she can't remember the poll.
Well, I already did the one for who is it?
Who is it? Jeff or Adam?
Don't put names on it. Just who do you think it is?
Yeah,
because it could be a girl, could be like
could
someone
be the
could
daughter.
have a whole theory that we haven't even thought of.
Shauna's asshole daughter. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And we will be here next Sunday.
I hope you had a Merry Christmas or whatever you celebrate.
Yeah, of course. And we will see you guys for episode 8 in 2022.